everyone, welcome to Talk and Chalk. I'm Beck. I'm an assistant principal in Southwest Sydney, and this is my YouTube channel where I share my tips on education and share lots of resources with you guys as well. But today I'm doing something a little bit different. If you're brand new here and you're not a teacher, that's fine because I'm not doing teaching stuff today. We are currently in the end, at the end of our school holiday period between term 1 and term 2, and I have spent the last 2 weeks using the Konmari method from Marie Kondo for decluttering and tidying up our house. So today I'm going to share with you that journey. Now, before we get started, I want to remind everyone who hasn't already done it, the subscription button is below, and if you haven't ticked the notification bell, just click on that and then you'll get alerted to when I upload a video. Only one a week. I'm not monetized, so you won't have to deal with any ads on this channel, and I don't spam or sell anything like that. So hopefully you'll enjoy what I've got to share for you today. To give you a little bit of context, this is a longer video, so you might want to skip through some parts. Stay tuned till the end though, because that's where I'm going to share some of the pitfalls that we came across and my top tips for things that you need to do prior to or while you're going through this process. So I'll share those with you at the end after you've seen the process that we go through. So to give you a little bit of background, I am married. Hubby and I have 3 beautiful children. We've got a 9-year-old daughter, a 8-year-old son, and then a 3-year-old son as well. So this process was a little difficult to do with the 3-year-old around who likes to pull things out after you've cleaned them up and packed them away, that sort of a thing. But we live in a 3-bedroom home, we rent, we don't have a garage, and that's possibly the major reason why the home has become quite cluttered, is because we don't have storage for things like that. We do have a shed, but that's more for things like our Christmas things that are stored up in airtight containers and things like that are outside, and you know, there's other sort of outdoor things in that shed. They're not the keepsake things that you want to keep in the home, keep in good quality. So I've been watching the Netflix series Tidying Up with Marie Kondo, and the process that she goes through with people seemed a bit silly at first. You know, that whole focus on what sparks joy for you, and she describes joy as ching. That's the sound that she makes when she talks about what joy feels like when you go through that. That's how you know you are sparking joy, because you feel that energy within you, and you can't necessarily describe what it feels like or why you necessarily feel it. You just know that it's there. And that's the focus that you need to have when you go through this process, is essentially removing those things from your life that not that they necessarily make you feel bad, but they don't spark joy. So why take up your physical space with those things, take up your mental energy with those things? You may as well pass them on to someone else who it does spark joy for. So she's very specific about following the process for a reason, and the reason being is that as you go through this process, you will become more open to those things that truly spark joy for you. So we try to adhere to the process. So step 1 is clothing, step 2 is books, step 3 is papers, step 4 is miscellaneous, and miscellaneous is the biggest section. And then the last step, step 5, is sentimental. So I'm going to share with you guys us going through clothes, going through books. We skipped over papers, and I kind of described that as you go through the video. And then we got into miscellaneous. And like I said, we don't have a garage, so miscellaneous didn't cover that for us. Miscellaneous can have a huge set of different categories, like your laundry, your kitchen, etc. What I will do is on my social media, on Twitter, on Interest, and on my Facebook, you can find me there under Talk and Chalk or Beck West. Twitter is BeckWest81. You can see, I will share the picture that I found online that kind of helped me go through it. And I kind of stopped filming when we got to sentimental, and I kind of explain that when we get there. So what I'll do now is I will flip over to the vlogging sort of version of things that I did, and then stay tuned with me so that when we come back at the end, I'll share with you again those pitfalls and top tips for when you go through this KonMari process. Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday in the first week of the school holidays. Everyone's finishing off their breakfast at the moment. So I thought I'd get the ball rolling on this. So we're going to start with clothes. Sorry, I'm still tired. I'm waking up. we're going to start with clothes today. So on the bed here, we're going to pile up all of the clothes that we own, and we're going to see which items spark joy for us. So currently this is my half of the wardrobe. I've got dresses and shirts and things, and I tend to put skirts and tops down the bottom here. I've got my heels stored here, and over here we've got our drawers for shirts and shorts and things. And I started to fold. I should show you. So this one. So we started folding to use the Marie Kondo folding technique, and this is actually 2 drawers worth, now 1 in there, but I'm still going to take all of that out anyway and start all over again. So in the kids' room, these are currently boxes of winter clothes because they don't fit in here. So I'm going to keep the boxes for some of the summer things like swimmers and stuff that we don't use. But the kids, we'll dump all their stuff onto the bed and we'll see what we've got. They've currently got a set of drawers here. You can see toys and things on top. Their wardrobe is a bit smaller there at the moment. Same thing. We're going to go through and decide what actually needs to stay, what needs to go, and then store them a bit better, because at the moment the other side of their wardrobe, like on the other side there, is more toys and books and things. And at the moment this room only has that set of shelves, because if I go into my daughter's room, we're currently using her wardrobe for more toy storage, and this side over here just has massive jackets, winter coats and things that we don't use all the time. So it's a bit overwhelming to think how we're going to get this started, but we'll get it started. So straight away in the kids' room with all of the winter stuff is a box that I've had stored, oh my gosh, for I don't even know how many years. So this is my jacket from uni. When I played at the uni games, I did judo. I competed in judo. 2000, look at that, 2000 games. This is, God, pre 18 years, as in I'm about to turn 38 soon. So this is more than 20 years ago when I was a bowler. I will brag, I was a champion bowler. These are all my patches from different things that I'd achieved. My mum sewed this on this jacket and I wore this to all of my bowling games. And I'm very proud of this. But I can't bring myself to get rid of it. So I don't know what I'm going to do about this, because I don't feel like I can get rid of it yet. This is my high school jacket. I could probably get rid of it, but it was a good quality jacket at the time. It's got fur and fluff and everything all over it now. So my mum signed that on. That was my maiden name. And my high school jersey. Oh my gosh, it's going yellow. That's the kind of thing I guess you think you'll put into a frame, but you never do. Oh, this isn't my one. This is my hubby's one. Oh, what did he have on his? Westy. This is my one. Here's mine. So this was 98 when I graduated school. That was my nickname in high school. Year 12. 98. Oh my gosh. And then I've got, this is my year 6 t-shirt. It's all yellow now. This was my Sweet 16 t-shirt. Oh my gosh, one of my friends drew all over this. They all signed it, and then my dad washed it. I loved X-Files. I'm a big X-Filer, so that's why there was an alien on there. And then this was my hubby's shirt. I don't even know why we're keeping that now. That was his signatures. This was my signature shirt. So these definitely need, I guess, to have photos taken, but then they need to go because they're all taking up space. I've pulled everything out, and I was actually kind of happy with that pile after watching the episodes of Marie Kondo when people ended up with mountains on their bed. That's really not that much. Like, I pulled pajama stuff out there. So this is my wardrobe at the moment, and I've left a few things because those are my good work jackets. They're not going. I like them. They fit well. They're good quality. They spark enough joy that I'm keeping them. Over this side here, this is just a couple of fancy dress things because, hey, I'm a teacher, book week. And then down the bottom, those are some uniform shirts. So if I present at a conference regularly or something like that, or if I belong to a committee and there's a shirt in there, that's what that's for. So the bottom's completely cleaned out though. I've just left some dumbbells, slippers, I don't think you can see them there, and a bag that has my good quality camera in it where the screen is cracked. I don't know if that's something I should just be turfing or looking at getting a new one. I don't want to just throw things out for the sake of it, but it's an out-of-date camera now. But anyway, I've also pulled out the coat hangers. This, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that yet. I don't know if you can see them. They're wings. They're good quality wings too. They're red, they've got feathers, they're good for dress-up things. I haven't worn them in a while, but like I said, you know, book week. I don't know. I've also pulled out one of my things that I used to store my costume jewelry. So that's like my junk. Oh, that's like my junk jewelry from, you know, Kmart and stuff. So now my next step is going through and seeing what clothes spark joy. So the kids have been putting clothes for Xavier in here to store because he's only little. He'll wear them. Oh, thanks, buddy. How are you guys going?
Doing good, thanks.
Oh, wow. You've emptied the boxes. Good job.
Medium.
So what have you been doing?
We have just been sorting the clothes out that we know will fit us.
Mm-hmm.
So, by example, over here, these are all my clothes, and I know these will fit me because we have been looking at our sizes, putting them on our legs just to double check.
Okay.
And Logan has been getting his clothes and doing the same thing. I also really like this jacket. So
I know, and that's from your cousin, that one, isn't it?
I'm putting it on. I'm putting it on.
Now, have you guys got things out of the drawers yet?
No.
Okay, that's your next step now, taking all those things out of the drawers, seeing if they're still the right size, and then putting them on the pile. Okay?
For sure.
And another dress, which it's a nice dress, and I've worn it plenty of times, but I wore it because I wanted to cover up fat. So it doesn't really spark joy. It just reminds me of times when I felt fat and I wanted to cover it up. So this does not spark joy. So what are you up to now?
Fold Kondo.
Marie Kondo, you're folding now.
Kondo.
That's okay. So I can see your shorts in there and you're starting to put them into your drawer. Nice and neat. That's a great job. What are you doing? Are you going to show us the folding? Okay, so how do you do it? You flatten it out. Good. What's next? Fold it over.
Perfect martial arts.
And now you're going to make the rectangle shape. And now what do you do?
Flat.
Yeah, flatten it. Good.
And fold it.
And you fold it. Do you go all the way to the top or nearly to the top?
Nearly to the top.
Nearly to the top, shall we?
Sorry, it fell.
That's it. And now what do you do with the next bit?
Fold again.
Fold again. Good job, buddy. Okay, house is looking a bit of a schmozzle. This is for donating. At the moment you can see it's much emptier. I've got a whole gap here now, and whoops, I've created sort of that space there. Like that's how everything was bunched up like that before. So now it's all spaced out, and I've got another bag of donations there. These ones I'm going to attempt to sell on Facebook because some of these are still newish, good quality. See if I can get some money back from them. This is now Xavier's pile to get stashed away as hand-me-downs, and the kids are doing good. So this is just now some swim stuff to get stored away. Pile of donations there, and Logan has finished his drawer. So now he's got shorts, long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, and pajamas. Their wardrobe is looking much better than what it was before. After a long morning of sorting, decluttering, and folding, we have 3 garbage bags to go take to the donation bins. We dropped off 3 big bags of donations at the clothing bin. How does it feel?
Feel good, man.
Feel good. What do you think of your drawers now that they're all nice and neat and folded and everything?
better because now I don't have to dig through all the time.
You can find it easier now, can you? That's good. Good morning. It's day 2 of decluttering and cleaning our house. We did clothing pretty much all day yesterday, and we took some stuff to the clothing bin. We're not quite done yet, but the things that I need to do, I don't have to do today. So I need to do all of my 3-year-old's clothes. I'm not going to worry about what sparks joy for him. I'm just going to look at what actually fits and making sure I'm not keeping exuberant amounts of t-shirts and things. I know I need to keep some old stuff for preschool that he can get dirty and messy in, but you know, other nice clothes and everything. So I've got, this is a pile of stuff from my older son that's going to get folded properly and stored for when the little one is older and can use them, because waste not, want not. I haven't kept a ton of stuff. That looks like a lot because the kids have just thrown it in there. This is a box of absolute summer stuff. It will only get worn in summer. Like, these are my daughter's short shorts. She's not going to wear those in winter. I've got some uniforms for my son that he's not going to fit into for about 1 or 2 years. These were handed down to us from another school. So, and just winter pajamas, like these boxes that my son likes to sleep in. Like, they're not going to be needed in drawers throughout autumn and winter. But to give you some idea of it, these boxes all had things stored in them, and now I'm down to 1 to hold on to, 1 for absolute summer stuff. So the kids finished their drawers. They look great. So these are my son's shorts, his long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, pajamas. This is my daughter. She did a great job. She's got shirts and leggings, and here she is here. And hang on, can you show us, how do you actually pull something out so that it doesn't make a mess? You hold the other 2 shirts and pull it out. Beautiful. And we can see she's actually got space. Do you normally have space in your drawer, darling?
No.
No. Normally that's overflowing.
I'm going to redo some.
Oh, you're going to refold some? Okay. So the bottom drawer is not great. This is my toddler. That's the one I've still got to sort through. But the wardrobe looks amazing. So we've got uniforms there, my daughter there, older son, younger son. Now, previously, these thick coats all were in a whole other wardrobe, and now that other wardrobe is half empty because we've been able to fit it in here.
And that was my wardrobe, wasn't it?
Yeah, and now we've got a spare shelf here, and up the top here as well is now free to put things into. So I need to sort this. This is going to happen today though. Books. So her bookshelves look beautiful, but we're going to go through and see the ones that, you know, maybe we're finished reading, we're not interested in as much.
Yeah, but I'm going to keep my mum's because that is a present of loyalty to me.
So Marie Kondo says that step 2 is books. That's step 2. You need to do that one. So even though I haven't quite finished with the clothes, that's what we're going to do next. So today we're getting all of our books out. This is the hard part of trying to declutter and tidy with a toddler around. He just pulls everything back out. You know what we're cleaning today?
Kondo.
Marie Kondo. We're doing books today. Now here's the problem with us. We just have books everywhere. We've got books in this cupboard. There's books in the bottom of the TV shelf. There's books up in there. There's books in the bedroom. There's books in the kids' rooms. They're all over the place because, yay. Hey, you say hi? Messmaker? You say hi? Look at you with your cocoa. And we believe in, you know, reading books, reading for a passion. So they're everywhere, but you know, we need to narrow it down a little bit and put them in a space where they're actually going to be used and loved and respected, I guess, because, you know, a lot of effort went into writing those books, and that's what we want to do with them. He's now crawling around my feet. This is going to be interesting. So we have to take them all out and put them in one space. That's the Marie Kondo rule. This is without the kids' books. Is this a pile you've sorted?
This is probably get rid of.
Star Wars. We've ended up with doubles though. as we've gone through. We love David Eddings that much we have to buy it twice. This one's a double up too, that one. So do you want to keep the hardback and the paperback or just one?
Yeah, I'll probably keep the hardback.
See, some of these are my brand new ones, so they're going straight back onto the shelf pretty much because I haven't even read them and I want to read them. This is a good example of what sparks joy. Look how many times I've read this. I've had to sticky tape it. Q. Hi, Baba. I love that series. I already got a no pile here though. As much as I love Hamlet, doesn't spark joy, and I've read it enough times. We managed to finish that much faster than the clothes. We've decluttered books a lot before, but pulling everything out made us realize we had double ups of things that we thought we'd already got rid of before that were just in nooks and crannies. So now we've condensed it down to this is our keep pile. They're going to go back on the shelves. I'm trying to separate sort of my teachery ones to other ones. This is a pile here though. I've got comics and other books that may be worth trying to sell. So I'm going to check on eBay and see if it's worth it. If it's not worth it, they'll go in the donation pile. So this is 3 bags worth of books that we're going to take to the Bookface station. This is at our local shopping centre. It's a take a book, leave a book station. I love it. We get books from there, and I love the fact that it's run by a store that have created this amazing little reading corner at the shops for kids to play in as well. So I'll try and get some video of that when we go and do it. The next step is the kids' books. I wanted to keep that separate to this because we really wanted to just go through that process of, you know, what sparks joy. So for example, I was ready to just get rid of some of these, the Far Side Gallery, as funny as they are. And I said to hubby, when do you read it? Oh, whatever, you know. And I said, no, does it spark joy? And he said, yeah, okay. So we're keeping it. It sparks joy for him. We'll keep it. One that I'm not sure of is this old thing. I don't even know. There'll be a year in there somewhere, but it's a May Gibbs. But it says Department of Public Health, Maternal and Baby Welfare Division. It's called Our Babies. It's Snugglepot and Cuddle Pie. It's not one that I necessarily want to keep. I get the feeling though this came from my grandmother, so I need to check with my mum if that's the case and if it's something we need to keep because it's starting to look a bit water damaged. So I'll make that phone call later today. This is the take a book, leave a book bookshelf from Bookface with a little reading section here. So this side's looking pretty full, so we're going to top up the other side with our donations. Good job, guys. This is the amazing book corner that they have in the shopping centre. This huge space. And then you come in, and they've got books here for the kids to read. And a reminder that you can go and get the books at the shop if you like them. So these have got books in them too. I love this space, and there's kids playing in the book house. And then, you know, cafe over there for a coffee if you want one. Good morning. It's Thursday in the first week of the holidays. So this is day 3, technically, of tidying up the house. We finished all the books yesterday. We didn't get a chance to go and donate them, so we're going to go donate them today. But to just give you an idea, we've got rid of 3 bags worth of things. We've got some things that we're going to try and sell. And it's cleaned up a fair amount of space on shelves. So we've put back things now that spark joy for us, or things that we want to continue reading. Books wasn't too bad. We're getting stuck into the kids' books kind of as we go because there are some things I want to keep again for Xavier. But just to give you an idea, I mean, you guys have seen my bookshelf kind of before. So this is my bookshelf. This is usually what you see when I'm filming. I really need to sort out that bottom shelf there because that's a bit of a stockpile drawer for cords and things, but that will be coming up. So I'm happy with the way it's progressing. It's good. My little one is off to preschool today, so hopefully things will be a bit easier because today we're tackling the miscellaneous section. We're meant to do, according to the Marie Kondo method, you're meant to do papers next. We have a bit of an issue when it comes to papers because we get a lot of stuff via email anyway. Our bills and things come via email. And we have a lot of paperwork still remaining from a business we had years ago. We used to have a video shop, which was great. Lots of fun to work in a video shop. And we have to keep business papers for a separate amount of time, and they're stored differently. So we're kind of going to gloss over the paper section for the moment because we sort of can't do it at the moment. So we're just going to go straight to miscellaneous, and we're going to start with the kitchen. So what are you guys doing now?
We're emptying out everything so we can get so we can place it back in. I was going to say so we can get bored.
So we can get bored.
He needs some milk.
Are these chopsticks?
They are. They're nice ones. So we're considering they've never been opened. I'm not sure if we're going to keep them. We'll see. So put it all on the bench.
I'll use it for my noodles.
Well, yeah, we're going to make ramen soon. So everything out of the cupboards onto the bench, and then we sort. Something we've realised when you go through this process is you have to be prepared for everything to just get messy before it gets clean. So we have this huge box of things now that's, I don't know if we're binning or donating. I mean, it's old kitchen stuff, so I'm assuming binning. We have to organise a council cleanup at some point anyway. But there's still just there's just stuff everywhere at the moment. It's still stuff. But we're getting there. So I'm just going to look at the cupboards. This is now half of what it was, and we're going to go get like a divider to sit in here to separate some of those to make it easier to see. The dishcloths, and then Glad paper, etc. And then we've got just clip lock bags, lunch bags, and my Bub's spare bottles. They're just in case bottles, which is why they're there. This did have just all of our baking stuff, the kids' cereal, everything, and hubby preferred this to be pots and pans, and it's just so much better now. Look at that, so easy to get to now. So that's really good. And then we went through and got rid of things that we didn't use and kept the essentials. So those are there. And now we've moved the kids' stuff to this cupboard. They know now they're allowed to go to this cupboard, get their cereals, get their bowl, and then we've got baking stuff at the back there that I use with the kids. So that's nice and low for them. And Bub already knows he's allowed to get those bowls, so that'll be good for him. I'm wandering the house a bit aimlessly this morning because we're up to the miscellaneous section, which doesn't have an order, so now I'm a little bit lost. Hubby is going through the cord boxes, plural, lots and lots of electrical cords and plugs and cables and things. So he's going through all that because he knows all of our sound systems and computers and everything, so he's going through that. So I've got the kids going through books. Did you find a book? It's okay. Xavier can read a book.
Do you see ABC?
Do you see ABCs? That's okay. Well, he just wants to look at the ABC book. And look at that, it's all curled up. So the kids are going through... Thank you, buddy. The kids are going through their book pile now to sort that one out. He wants his caterpillar book, buddy. He wants Hungry Caterpillar. Thank you. You're doing a good job. He's piling stuff up. Maybe I should go help them out and see if I can find some focus today. Perhaps I might work on the bathroom. The kids are getting themselves ready for bed. It's been a long day and we're all very tired. But this room, I'm very happy with. We can walk through it. We did. Wardrobe is looking good. This side is looking nice and neat and tidy with things on it. And hello. And the best thing is
And I can watch myself dance.
Thank you. Move over. These two drawers down here, well, that one drawer is our swim stuff. My swim stuff and all three kids' swim stuff, which used to be a drawer for me and a drawer at the bottom for the kids. And now I have an empty drawer to fill. So I'll have to figure that one out. I've come out the back for a 5-minute break this afternoon. It's not long till we have dinner, but I want to have a cup of tea anyway and stop because I'm so tired. This gets tiring. It's very tiring. You kind of hit your groove, you get the ball rolling and you want to keep going and going, and then you kind of, well, at least for me, I stagnated sort of a little bit and didn't know where to go once we hit the miscellaneous section. The But yeah, this is hard to do with kids underfoot. So I'm trying to involve them as much as possible so they can make decisions and be part of the process. But there are some things that obviously is just not necessarily for them to make a decision on. Hubby and I need to do that, and just sorting out where things go. So we're going to keep going through the miscellaneous. Tomorrow I'm going to be working on the bathroom. I wanted to get to that the other day and I didn't, so I'm going to keep working on the bathroom. I've got some boxes to work on that, and I totally forgot all about doing my scarves when we did clothes the other day, because I keep scarves in a different wardrobe kind of stored with a whole bunch of other stuff that's getting stored. So tomorrow I'm going to do scarves because I watched another video about Marie Kondo's folding technique for scarves and it looked like it's a good space saver. So I got a couple of little containers for those to go into, and I'll try that tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to enjoy my cup of tea, and tonight probably going to have, you know, a glass or two of wine and a whole box of chocolates. So today I'm going to work in the bathroom. We have a really, really small bathroom and no ensuite. So 1 between 5, 1 toilet. We've got 1 bath, which is here, 1 shower, which is behind me, and it's an odd design where the shower is actually like open, attached. There's no doors or anything. It's completely open. So like steam gets out everywhere, and of course water gets everywhere. So the only storage that we have are these 3 drawers, these 2 cupboards. Well, it's 1 cupboard with 2 doors. That's it. We do have a big mirror, but it's just a wall hanging mirror. There's no storage in there. Literally, this is all the bathroom storage. So we can't use it for, you know, storing toilet paper or anything like that. It's just going to take up other space. And, you know, all the kids' stuff in here as well. So at the moment we've got a little sink caddy here for toothbrushes, toothpaste, and some hairbrushes. And then on the sink we have some soap. That's my electric toothbrush. And over here we've got, you know, a hand towel. So we've got one towel rail, which pretty much has mine and hubby's. And then we've got some hooks on the door, which is behind you, behind the camera here. I've got 2 hooks for 2 large kids towels, and then I've kind of got the baby towel hanging from the door at the back. Camera fell. Try this again. Oh. Okay, so what was I up to? So today I'm going to try and sort the stuff that's in the cupboards into some smaller boxes. So when I watched the Marie Kondo episodes, she recommended having things in baskets or boxes to store things. It's easier to access so that you're not digging through a bunch of things to get out whatever you want, possibly that's at the back. And it just looks neater and tidier too. So I've got this from Kmart for, I think this was $2, 2 of those. And these ones were $3. So I'm not sure why the bigger one was cheaper. Maybe it just doesn't sell as well. I do like the fact that these are stackable if I want to stack them in there. But at the moment, I don't really have a plan for what's going in these. I'm just going to pull everything out the way that you're supposed to and then start sorting through what's there. So at the moment, it looks a bit chaotic. This is my overnight bag for toiletries when we go on holidays. Probably doesn't need to be at the front. That's my makeup bag, which I need a new one. And then in here I've just got various, like, there's just bottles of things. So I'm going to start digging through. This is where I store my nail polish. Now it looks pretty bad because my daughter has a ton of her sort of plain nail polish in there as well. I don't paint my nails all that often because I've gotten to the point now where, after experiencing getting my nails done properly, getting some SNS done, doing this looks really janky. So I don't do it that much, and I find it hard now to find a good quality one. But I do like this box. It's sturdy and it's good for holding these. So what I need to do is go through these and just pick out the ones that are actually good quality or in good condition, and perhaps turf the ones that my daughter likes to play with. I'm not sure. I'll find a different container for her. This was the box that I was storing all of my daughter's things in when she was born, when she came home from hospital, cards and trinkets and things. And then it ended up becoming hair elastics and headbands. And she never wears the headbands. I don't know why I'm keeping this like this. And now the box is essentially, well, ruined. Maybe I can repair some of that and use that again for trinkets and things. So that definitely needs to get sorted. This is now much better. Not a great variant in colours, but at least that's sorted now, and I can pop the lid on that and put it away. So I've put things into the boxes. The only thing is that I'm a bit limited on my shelf space with drainage. So this one can pretty much only go in one spot here because I've got some piping there, but luckily that fits right there. Let's see how the rest go. Even though I locked myself in the bathroom to do this one, they always want to play. So at the moment, this is much better than what it was. Because of all this piping, I can only fit certain things here. Yeah, Baba, So this is now my daughter's elastics, the main ones that she always uses. And I've tried to put things in categories. So all of our son's stuff, creams and things. And then I've got my makeup bag sitting on the side there. Much better. Powering through, and I'm taking a step back to something I accidentally skipped when we were doing clothing, which was my scarves, because they were in a different wardrobe. So if you've seen my video on winter clothing, you would have seen this is how I currently store my scarves. But after decluttering the kids' room, I managed to free up this box, which was storing Lego, and I'm going to attempt to use the Marie Kondo folding technique for scarves to fit them into this box. So these are all the scarves that were on the rack. I started putting some in the bottom thinking I could put the heavier ones on the bottom that I only use on super cold days, and then my lighter ones on top. And looking at this, I have a lot of purple scarves. Purple and red is what I go through. But that's not all going to fit. So this might be a sign that it's time to do the same thing I did with my clothes and really just pick the ones that spark joy for me, the ones that I wear more than anything. And really looking automatically at it, I know this one itches me. So I only wear that pretty much if I'm wearing like a high collared shirt, and I think I own like maybe 2 turtleneck style shirts, so I don't wear that one all that often. This one is you can see how big it is. It's super thick and heavy. My husband nicknamed that the carpet scarf. From memory, that was a gift from my mum, but I mean I only wear that maybe twice a year, if that, because I only wear it on, you know, hey Bubba, oh don't climb over my pile.
Whoa!
It's fun doing this with kids. Lost my train of thought there. Yeah, so I don't wear that one often. I don't know, looking at that, it doesn't really spark the same joy that other ones do. I don't wear my Tigers one. I only wear things like this on footy colours day at school. And I have my jersey, so maybe that's an easy one that can go. I can tell you easily the ones that spark joy. This sparks joy for me. If I open it up, it's a bit, you can see, I don't know if you guys can see that in the video. It's got beautiful blues and purples throughout this. It kind of, it's not thick, it's sheer. This is what I like about it. So I can use it as a wrap just on a slightly chilly night, or I can fold it over to make it warmer. But this was a gift from a student back in, what was it, 2015? Oh, not 2015, 2005, 2006. One of those years when I had one of those 2 year 6 classes at that time. And they brought it back for me from Vietnam. And it's good quality too. I mean, you can only see it's just starting to sort of lose the weave a little bit in some places. And I do wear that one a lot. This is hands down my favorite. This one, I wear this so much all year round in tons of different outfits, casual and formal, that I really, really like. This one's cute. It's got this sort of, I don't know if you can see that sort of sparkle throughout it. These two, hands down, I wear the most throughout winter. These I got when I was teaching in the country from the market stalls, and they are super long. I love long scarves. So I think what I might do is go through, have a bit of a cull, and then see how they fit. Okay, so I went through, and this is now my box full of scarves. So there are the thicker ones underneath there.
Hi, Juice.
Hi, Juice. Hi, Bubba. You want a juice, do you? Okay, I'll get you a juice.
Okay.
Okay. We're almost at the end of 2 weeks of doing this, and the house is kind of still trashed, but feels really, really good. So this cupboard was packed full on top and everything, and I love the fact now that there's space to work with. And this is pretty much the same around the house. So even though there's kind of still stuff everywhere that we're sorting out and organizing and deciding what sparks joy, there's lots of empty pockets around the house, which is now really good, because as we put things away, I know it's going to empty out and feel less cluttered. This is the storage in my daughter's room now. So we've got Lego sorted into colors. Believe me, this is not all of the Lego. This is just a good chunk of it. A lovely sticker there. And cube storage for different things. So she has Shopkins in there, you know, just random toys. We had a huge dress-up box. This is now the accessories, and I've hung up the other costumes. And then just, you know, that's more dolly stuff that's in there. So I'm very happy with that. So you saw beginning of this process, we taught the kids how to do the Marie Kondo folding style, and these are their drawers now. They've been doing it for almost 2 weeks. So we've had to train the kids in terms of how to fold it, where they line up in the drawer, and then how to actually take it out. Because if you have it packed in too tight, and then the kids pull it out, everything else comes out with it. But this is 2 weeks later, and like, it's school holidays, so new outfit every day. They're doing it really, really well. So I'm really happy with that, and they enjoy it too. So I said I would show you the t-shirt folding technique, which gets them like that. So I don't know if you could see that here. So my son has his shorts here. These are long sleeve shirts, these are short sleeve shirts, and then these are pajamas. So folding technique is essentially putting it into a rectangle and then folding that rectangle in half, but not completely. It leaves a little gap, which is the part I think that makes it stand up, and then folding it into thirds. Now, it doesn't quite work with everything, and there's different techniques out there which you can YouTube or Google or whatever, but I'll show you the t-shirt one. So I'm going to try and set up the camera to be able to show you this. Okay, it's too hard to set up the camera, so I'm just going to try and hold the camera and show you what it is. So what I do is you fold it flat, smooth it all out to get rid of all of those creases as much as you can. And then what you're going to do is think that there are lines here kind of into thirds, and that's what you're aiming for. So you bring this side in to that imaginary line of a third that I said was there, and then you fold this sleeve back, and then you do the same for the other side. So you bring it into where that imaginary third line was and fold that sleeve back. So that's kind of the rectangle shape you're looking for. This is usually much neater when I'm doing it with two hands. So then you take the bottom part and bring it up to the top, but not quite exactly to the top. You leave that little bit there, and then imagine that there's thirds here, and that's what you're rolling it into, third and a third. And then what I did was I put the logo side down to the floor so that when you roll it up, you can see it. Otherwise, you'll end up with a bunch of just plain white and black shirts in a row, and you won't know which one's which. But the idea is that that should be able to stand up, which it can, and then it can now go into the drawer with these ones standing up. And see, I've actually got space there for another shirt if I want to put it in. It stands up. Oh, too easy. So reflecting on this process after almost 2 weeks of doing this, I can understand why on the Netflix show they take about a month to do it. I've had the benefit of being on school holidays, which means that I've had almost sort of every day that we can do a bit at a time. But you can feel change in the house, I guess. So at the moment, we've still got lots of stuff in our dining room to be sorted, because as we've pulled things out of rooms and put them in those piles, there's still kind of things left over there that haven't fit into any of the categories. So we went through clothes, we did books, and then we went to miscellaneous, which has so many different categories. So I will share on my pages the example list that I found on Google, and like miscellaneous falls into different categories, like garage. We don't have a garage, so it doesn't fall under that. Laundry, kitchen, bathroom. So we kind of gone through most of those. We kind of still have the laundry to do, but considering school holidays is about to end, I kind of want to skip over that and get to the last section, which is sentimental. And I know this is going to be the harder one to do, and possibly cause maybe some debates about what should stay and what should go. And that part I'm not going to video, because, you know, that's a lot of private stuff that I don't necessarily want to share with everyone, and chances are it's not going to be a quick and easy conversation to have. So I think I'll leave it there for the stuff that I'm showing around the house. And once I've put this all together, I think I'll do a bit of a recap and finish off with a bit of a review. Okay, so you can see it's been a very big 2 weeks. We didn't spend all day, every day doing it. It gets quite tiring when you're going through that, you know, physically and emotionally. And, you know, there's other things to do as well. You know, you've got to go grocery shopping, and you've got to get milk and eggs and bread and that sort of a thing, and take the kids to the park, and, you know, enjoy school holidays as well. This is the first time I've ever not gone to school that I can remember during the school holidays. I've done a little bit of work, but I haven't physically gone into school, and that's a first. So you'll notice I didn't focus on any teaching stuff in this video, because all of my teaching things are at school now. They are not at home. That's a big moment of joy for me, to be able to say it's all there. No to and fro or anything like that. All my stuff is at school where it's needed. So I wrote just down a couple of things, and I spoke to hubby before I filmed this to just see with him if he had any other things that he thought, you know, were good tips or things to avoid when you go through this. So let's start with, you know, some of the pitfalls we came across. The first one we found with the clothes was that we hadn't actually found all of the clothes. So you noticed in the video, I realized my scarves were in a different wardrobe on a hanger being stored. So I got them out and then went through those. And then we realized, oh, there was the dirty clothes hamper, you know, had clothes in it. There were clothes on the line. There were some clothes still in storage that I had that my older son had outgrown, and I had been storing for my younger son and forgotten that they were out there, those little things. The same thing happened to us with books. So we would suddenly find another pile of kids' books randomly on a shelf behind some games, board games. And then in the kitchen, when we were cleaning that out, we found cookbooks as we were going through those cupboards as well. So we didn't go through the house properly to find everything. So if you're going to do this, really look in every single room in the house when you go through those sections, and make sure you get everything out. Dig everything out. Go through the tops of the closets, your linen pantry or whatever. Linen pantry, linen closet, whatever you call it. Mine's the towel cupboard. You know, get all those things out. We allowed 2 weeks for this because it's school holidays, and, you know, it's the better time to do it when there's not deadlines and things sort of hovering around. In the show, they kind of allow a month. Now, I don't know if the people in the show get paid to be off work or if they're working while they do it. My hubby's a stay-at-home dad, so we've both been at home doing this for the 2 weeks, and we've both been doing it, and the kids have been doing it as well. And even then, we're not done. As I film this, the rest of the house is still kind of chaotic, but I love the fact that as I go around the house, there are shelves empty, there are cupboards with space now, so that as we keep going through everything, I now know I have places that those things can go into. So I'm estimating another couple of weeks, and then things will clear out a bit better, and the house will feel as open and tidy as some of those shelves are at the moment. I wouldn't go overboard on boxes and things preparing to store or roll things up into the way Marie Kondo does. So I went to Kmart and I got those boxes for the bathroom, and they worked well in the bathroom. I'm glad I didn't go out and buy a ton of them, because I found that as we went through and decluttered things and got rid of things, all of a sudden I had boxes or containers that I could use to store things like that in the kitchen or elsewhere. So we've actually gotten rid of some. So don't go overboard suddenly going to Kmart and going, yeah, I get to buy things from Kmart. You won't necessarily need it. You won't know what you need until you kind of get to it. So don't go overboard on that stuff first. Okay, top tips for this one. I think it's important that you involve the whole family in this process. I love the fact that the kids are just doing really well with their drawers and those spaces, because that's, one less thing to worry about as a parent. I think it's important that you follow the method that she sets out, because you find, clothes are an easier one to start with because they're clothes. Books, you have a bit more of an attachment or a connection to books, or at least we do anyway. So that kind of takes you through that process a bit more. This is something that I've read. Am I actually going to read it again? Is it worth holding on to? Something that I feel about books is that, if I'm keeping it and I'm still unsure if I'm actually even going to read it again, that means I'm depriving someone else from reading it that could enjoy that book. So, I will pass that on. Then the next step with the papers, I explained why we didn't go through that one, but I imagine that, that would be quite tedious and time consuming, and you need to shred important documents. So have a shredder ready, or have that space where you can lay out all your papers and do that. And then going through the sentimental stuff. So we did start going through the sentimental stuff today. And the hard thing with sentimental things is things that are gifted or engraved is a tricky one. So, keychains that are engraved or things like that, it feels bad to get rid of it because it was either gifted or it's been engraved. It's not something you can easily just pass on, donate or anything like that, because not necessarily anyone else is going to find it that useful. I've got a pretty average name, Rebecca, so I'm sure there's another Rebecca out there that could use it, but it still feels weird to get rid of it sometimes. So you kind of really got to really hone in on, does this item actually spark joy for me? Is it just the memory of an event and the event is what sparks joy, or does that particular item actually spark joy for me? Because, a lot of those times it didn't. A photo of that event would spark more joy for me than the item from the event or something like that. So going through that process first really opens you up to that for when you get to that point. Okay, I think it's important to take a break halfway through. We got through about a week of it and I was just exhausted. And, I'm someone that's generally on the go. I'm not super athletic, but this was up and go and go. And maybe that's the mental strain, maybe, of thinking about those things that are important in your life and what you take value in. Be prepared to donate things that aren't, going to sell or whatever. So, I said I've got those clothes that I want to sell, and I've sold a couple of things. But, I haven't had any inquiries or anything for some of the other ones. So I've got to be prepared. You know what? If in 2 weeks I've had no interest in those things whatsoever, I'm just going to donate it. There's no point it taking up space if it doesn't spark joy and it's not going to create any kind of monetary value for me. I'm just going to get rid of it. So folding techniques. So I recommended in that video you put t-shirts logo side down so that when you fold it up, you can actually see part of the logo on the outside so that you know which shirt it is. Other things in terms of that folding technique, I'm quite tall. I'm 5'10", 5'11", whatever I am now. I stoop now that I've had 3 kids. So which means that I've got long pants. So the folding technique, when I folded it into that last step for thirds, so I'm not even sure if I've explained the pants one. So pants is get it into that rectangular shape, flatten it out. Anything that sticks out, put it in to make a rectangular shape. Fold it almost in half with that little bit at the top, and then you're meant to fold it into thirds. That's where it rolls up and stands up. However, when I did that, my pants would stick up too high for the drawers to shut. And I don't know if that's because they were drawers that were just too short perhaps, or because I've got such long pants. So I folded mine into quarters at the end instead. and then stood them up, and it worked fine. My t-shirts I could still do thirds, but for my pants, because it was longer, I had to roll it up even more. And when I say pants, I mean like my mum jeans and my tracky dacks. Nice work slacks I've got hanging in the wardrobe. Make sure before you get started, if you have other people living in your home, you talk about this process beforehand. So hubby didn't watch the show. He saw snippets of it where I showed him certain things, and then I told him about the process and how we go through this and the order of things. And he's happy for the house to be decluttered, whatever it takes. So we talked about it first, and made sure that we were sort of aware of the whole point. Because the whole sparking joy thing, it feels funny at first. It feels a little bit weird, and I don't know if that's because we're Aussie and we're just generally chill about things. This requires a fair amount of thinking really deeply about objects and how you're connected to those things. So we talked about it at first, and that would be our focus to guide us through this process. Which is a good process. Like at the end of this 2 weeks, the way that we're talking about our things now gives us really good focus on the things that we value in our home. So we agreed that would be our focus, and we stuck with it. The other thing you need to do is talk first about what happens when you get to the point where there's conflict in this process. And I'm not talking about having a massive argument and throwing wine glasses at each other or something like that. We don't do that. That's just like I'm thinking of a movie. What I mean is like when there's something in the home that everyone uses or has multiple purposes or whatever, and neither one can agree whether it should stay or should go. And I'm going to give you an example. Like you saw, we have very limited space in this home. So in our toilet area, which is just its own room, it's a toilet room, I have like a set of like cheap reject shop shelves. It's a set of 3 shelves, and that's where the toilet paper goes. And my husband hates it. He hates it, but there's nowhere else to store it, and I don't want just like a slab of toilet rolls sitting on the floor. So it sits in there. It looks neat and tidy. It's part of the kids' jobs to put it away when we bring the shopping home. It's an easy job for them to do, to be a bit more independent and, do chores around the home. But he hates it. But for me, it might sound silly, but that sparks joy for me. It means that I know where the stuff is, it's neat and tidy, and there's no toilet paper on the floor. So I wanted to keep that. He wanted to get rid of it. So we really had to talk about that. And that will happen, I'm sure. So just keep that in mind before you get started and have that conversation. So being well aware that this is a very long video, if you have stayed to the end, thank you very much for staying with me. If you found part of this video helpful, a thumbs up is appreciated. Please share this with anyone that you think might be keen on giving the Konmari process a go. I highly recommend it, even if it's just to give you a kickstart in, decluttering your home or finding those things that you value the most of all in your life, and surrounding yourself with those things that spark joy as well. So either way though, I'm going to leave it there. I will put my button down here, so if you haven't clicked to subscribe, you can hover over that, click to subscribe. If you're an educator and you want to come back for more videos, I'll pop another video at the top there, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks guys. Bye.